If you've ever spent a serious amount of money on a bottle of wine because it had the right name, the right label, or the right story, this video is going to sting a little. Someone paid $558,000 for a single bottle of wine last year. Not a case, a bottle. And the system that made that possible is the same system quietly picking your pocket at the $80, $150, and $300 marks too. These are the 10 luxury wines that survive on auction hype, marketing mythology, and the one thing the industry counts on most: your desire to look like you know what you are doing. Let us kick off the countdown with number 10. Number 10. Ignoring underrated regions entirely. Number 10 isn't a single bottle. It's a habit, and it's costing you more than you realize. Every year, millions of wine buyers walk past shelves stacked with exceptional bottles from Georgia, Slovenia, the Canary Islands, and South Africa, heading straight for the Bordeaux section or the Napa display. Not because those regions are objectively better, but because the marketing budget told them to. Here is what the industry does not advertise. Top sommeliers consistently name Greek Assyrtiko, English sparkling wine, and Uruguayan Tannat as their go-to bottles for value. They recommend wines scoring 90 to 94 points that retail between $18 and $45. Meanwhile, the Bordeaux bottle next to it, priced at $180, carries the same critic score and a label that has been marketed for 200 years longer. The hidden cost of ignoring underrated regions isn't just one overpaid bottle, it's a lifetime of overpaying. Reputation and quality separated a long time ago, and the gap between them is exactly where the industry makes its money. If you want to drink like someone who actually understands wine, start by looking at where the smart money quietly drinks. It's rarely where the flashiest label is pointing. What's coming next makes this habit look almost forgivable. Number 9 is the wine world's most elegant con. You're not buying what's inside the bottle. You're buying the bottle itself. Walk through any upscale wine shop and you'll find them immediately. Bottles so heavy you need 2 hands to pour. Lead crystal stoppers. Velvet-lined gift boxes. Embossed labels thick enough to read with your eyes closed. The packaging signals luxury so loudly it does not need the wine to back it up. And it often does not. A standard wine bottle weighs around 400 grams. The prestige versions tip the scales at 900 grams or more, adding roughly $6 to $9 in pure glass and shipping cost per unit, passed directly onto the retail price. Yet blind tastings from major publications consistently show these wines scoring in the mid-80s, the same range as bottles at a quarter of the price. The producer did not invest in better fruit or longer aging. They invested in a heavier mold at the glass factory and charged you for the privilege. When the packaging is doing more work than the wine, you're not buying fine wine, you're buying a very expensive box. Worse still, number 8 turns a holiday into a very elegant mugging. Number 8, tourist trap tasting room exclusives. Number 8 targets the version of you that is on holiday, slightly relaxed and far more generous with your wallet than you would ever be at home. Every over-touristed wine region has the same playbook. Napa Valley's most visited estates, Tuscany's iconic hilltop cantinas, the champagne houses on the tourist circuit. They all offer tasting room exclusives, wines that are not available anywhere else, positioned as rare experiences you can only access by being here right now. The reality is less romantic. These exclusives are almost always produced in higher volumes than the marketing implies, priced 40 to 60% above equivalent bottles from the same appellation, and designed for one-time visitors who have no frame of reference for what the wine should cost. You are not in the market. You are in a controlled sales environment. The tasting fee softened you up. The view did the rest. Independent retailers in those same regions stock bottles from neighboring producers at half the price and frequently higher quality. That story you can tell at a dinner party costs you $60 to $80 in pure premium over what the wine is actually worth. You are not paying for the wine. You are paying for the memory of buying it. Coming in at number 7, a famous face on the label that costs you more than you would ever guess. Number 7. Celebrity luxury wine sold on image alone. Number 7 is what happens when a publicist gets a winemaking budget. The celebrity wine market has exploded. Actors, musicians, athletes, and influencers have attached their names to bottles at every price point. But the luxury end is where the truly dumb money flows. Bottles priced at $80, $120, and $200 carry a famous face on the back label and a premium appellation on the front. Here is what the label does not tell you. The wine is almost never made by the celebrity. It is produced by a contract winery, often in bulk, using sourced fruit from the same appellations as significantly cheaper bottles. The celebrity's contribution is a licensing agreement, typically 8 to 12% of wholesale. For a $150 bottle, that is $12 to $18 going to the face on the label. The rest funds the margin and the marketing. Blind tasting data is damning. When stripped of the name and presented alongside wines at a third of the price, critics and sommeliers consistently rate them as average to good, never exceptional. Admitting you overpaid for a celebrity bottle is a harder pill to swallow than the wine itself. If the main selling point is the face on the back label, you are not buying wine. You are buying a licensing deal in a bottle. Popping bottles takes on a whole new meaning at number 6, and the price tag will make your eyes water. Number 6. Ultra Prestige Single Vineyard Champagne as everyday bubbles. Number 6 is a wine that genuinely deserves its reputation, just not at the frequency most buyers use it. Bottles like Krug's Clos du Mesnil represent the absolute pinnacle of champagne production. Single vineyard, micro-allocation, a walled garden in the middle of Reims producing fewer than 15,000 bottles in a good year. Average case prices sit in 5-figure territory, and by almost every technical measure, the wine earns that position. The dumb move isn't buying it once. The dumb move is treating it as your go-to celebration bottle when the same sensory experience is available for $35 to $55 from grower champagne producers, small family estates that own their vineyards, control every step of production, and sell directly without multinational marketing overhead. Top grower champagnes regularly score 91 to 94 points, sitting undisturbed on shelves next to the famous brands. Krug spends more annually on Formula One sponsorship than some of these estates turn over in total revenue. Every billboard, every paddock suite, you're funding all of it every time you reach for the famous bottle. You're not always paying for what's in the bottle. Sometimes you're paying for the billboard it arrived on. The next one is where obscure gets truly obscene. Number 5. Liber Pater and hyper-scarce experimental Bordeaux. Number 5 is the most niche dumb purchase on this list, and the most expensive per bottle for what you actually get in the glass. Liber Pater is a Bordeaux estate built around a single obsessive idea, recreating pre-phylloxera wine using ungrafted vines and near-extinct grape varieties. The history is genuinely fascinating. The average case price is around $142,000. That is not a typo. The wine is produced in quantities sometimes fewer than 2,000 bottles per vintage, meaning the price is almost entirely a function of scarcity, not quality. Independent critics describe it as compelling and historically significant, not as the greatest wine they have ever experienced. At $142,000 a case, compelling is a spectacular letdown. You are not paying for an extraordinary glass of wine, you are paying for a conversation piece with a cork in it. For that money, you could buy more than 40 cases of genuinely exceptional Bordeaux from classified estates with decades of cellaring data. Liber Pater is a museum piece in a bottle. Fascinating to know about. Catastrophic to actually buy. Scarce is one thing, but number 4 turned scarcity into a status costume, and the whole world fell for it. Number 4. Pétrus as a status symbol. Number 4 is the wine that exists, at this point, almost entirely as a social signal, and the price tag proves it. Pétrus dominated 8 of the 15 most expensive wine sales in 2025. Individual bottles trade at $2,600 to $3,000 each on the secondary market. The wine is made from Merlot, A grape you can find producing excellent, professionally acclaimed bottles across Pomerol and Saint-Emilion for $40 to $120. The gap between Pétrus and the next tier of serious Pomerol producers has been studied in blind tastings repeatedly. Trained palates tasting without labels regularly rate serious competitors within a few points. Wines priced at $60 to $150 a bottle. The auction market did not create Pétrus's price because the wine kept outperforming everything else. It created it because enough wealthy people agreed to keep bidding. What you are paying for is provenance, history, and the ability to say the word Pétrus at a table and watch people react. It is a catastrophic purchase if what you actually want is the best glass of wine your money can buy. The name does more work than the wine. Still, nothing in the top 3 plays the exclusivity game quite as ruthlessly as number 3. Now we are into the top 3, and this is where it gets truly expensive. Number 3. Cult Napa Cabernet at 5-figure prices. Number 3 is Screaming Eagle in the cult Napa Cabernet category it created. Wines that long ago crossed the line from exceptional bottles into pure financial instruments wearing a cork. Screaming Eagle releases fewer than 500 cases per year. The average case price is $37,000. The waitlist has been closed to new applicants for years. The wine scored 96 points in a recent vintage, which sounds impressive until you realize more than 200 Napa Cabernets scored 95 points or above in the same year, most retailing under $200 a bottle. The $37,000 premium is not for the extra point on the scorecard. It is for the exclusivity architecture, the wait list, the allocation system, the carefully managed scarcity. Screaming Eagle did not invent a new way to make wine. It invented a new way to make a waiting list feel like a privilege. Producers across neighboring Napa appellations and up the coast in Sonoma are making Cabernet at the same technical level, selling for $80 to $180. The difference in the glass is marginal. The difference on the invoice is not. If you think Screaming Eagle is the only way to experience great Napa Cabernet, you have not been let in on the secret. You have been kept out of it on purpose. Extraordinary as that is, number 2 makes Screaming Eagle look almost reasonable. Number 2, Domaine Leroy Richebourg Grand Cru. This wine is so extraordinary that even making it onto this list feels like a crime. And yet, here it is. Because at current prices, buying it to drink is one of the most financially irrational decisions a wine lover can make. Domaine Leroy's Richebourg Grand Cru posts average case prices above $110,000. 10-year price performance is over 500%. Lalou Bizet Leroy is considered by many serious critics to be the greatest living winemaker in Burgundy. The wine is, by almost every measure, extraordinary. But here is the brutal arithmetic. For $110,000, you could buy more than 2,700 bottles of serious Burgundy from skilled producers in Gevrey-Chambertin, Chambol-Musigny, and Vosne-Romanée. The same villages, the same geology, the same grape variety, scoring 92 to 95 points. Domaine Leroy's prices are driven by hedge funds and collectors who will never open the bottles. You are competing with people who do not drink wine at all. You are not winning an auction. You are losing a bidding war against someone for whom the bottle is a line item on a spreadsheet. Drinking a $110,000 case of Leroy is the equivalent of driving a museum piece to the supermarket. The experience might be extraordinary. The decision is not. Everything on this list has been building to number 1, the single most mythologized, most expensive, and most irrational purchase in the entire world of wine. Number 1, Domaine de la Romanée-Conti Grand Cru as a Tuesday night bottle. And in first place, the single most dumb luxury wine purchase you can make in 2026. Domaine de la Romanée-Conti. DRC. The name alone closes conversations. Average case prices are $212,000. A single bottle sold at auction for $558,000. The estate produces approximately 5,000 to 6,000 bottles per year from a 1.8 hectare plot that has been producing wine since the 13th century. The history is real. The pedigree is real. The wine is genuinely extraordinary. None of that changes the arithmetic. The total production cost for a bottle of DRC, including biodynamic farming, Hand harvesting, traditional winemaking, and aging in new French oak is somewhere between $80 and $150 per bottle. The markup to $35,000 or more at retail is almost entirely brand mythology, enforced scarcity, and 300 years of legend the estate has never needed to pay for. In organized blind tastings, trained tasters cannot reliably distinguish DRC from exceptional Burgundy at $50 to $150 a bottle. Not always, but often enough that the data is deeply uncomfortable. The mystique survives not because the wine is untouchable, but because almost nobody who buys it at this price can afford to admit they were wrong. There are over 100 incredible Burgundy bottles available for under $60 that sommeliers genuinely reach for when nobody is watching. They do not post about it. They just drink well. You are not buying the greatest wine experience of your life. You are buying the most expensive story in wine history, and the industry is counting on you to never notice the difference. Across all 10, the pattern is the same. You're paying for mythology, not for what's in the glass. When a production cost of $150 becomes a bottle that sells for $35,000, the product is not the wine, it is you. Subscribe for more.